And good evening. Welcome to Creative Current, airing weekly over LAartstream.com. This is your host, Julio Martinez. Normally, you can find me live on the radio broadcasting Arts and Review from KPFK, the Pacifica outlet on 90.7 FM. But I'm so happy to be here on Creative Current this evening because I get to talk about the first love of my life, music. And fortunately, I have a great artist to talk to about music. In fact, his music. Please welcome to Creative Current, Señor Antonio Castillo de la Gala.
Muchas gracias.
Oh,
Gracias.
it's such a pleasure to have you here.
The pleasure is of mine to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Now, as I stated, you are a pianist.
Yes, I am.
Different than me. I was a guitarist. You have to go further on the instrument to make music.
88 keys, yes.
And I'm guessing that you did not come here by way of Fresno or Brooklyn.
No, that's a very good educated guess. And I didn't come swimming either, just in case people are wondering out there. No, I'm originally from Mexico. I was born in Veracruz, which is the east part of Mexico. And then after high school, I moved to Mexico City.
And it was during that time, if I have my information right, you started playing the piano under the tutelage of your grandmother when you were 3 years old?
Exactly. You did your homework. I started playing the piano when I was 3 years old. First, I started playing by ear. In other words, for some reason, and I probably will never know the reasons, I could figure out how to make songs, I have to play the songs and in a way that will make sense. And then my grandmother decided to teach me piano and learn the music and the notation, all that stuff. And so it's been always the only passion of my life. And then when I moved to Mexico City, that's when I enrolled at the National Conservatory of Music, where I graduated as a concert pianist.
And not only graduated as a concert pianist, you put in the time to actually get your PhD.
Yes, it's a 10-year program. It's grueling. It's really tremendous. So for many, many years, I have nightmares that I didn't graduate it, that I didn't finish, and eventually I accepted. And right after 1 month after I got my degrees, I moved to the United States.
Now, having gotten your musical education in Mexico City, and Mexico City is one of the most musically rich cities in the world, and you have a PhD, it seems like you might have followed a natural path to stay on as part of the faculty, do concerts in Mexico City, and build your career there. What made you emigrate?
Very good question. Yes, for a while, I was having a little bit of a career I was teaching over there, like a lot of pianists do in Mexico, and then I was touring all over Mexico, and I plainly played probably in most of the main cities in Mexico. But it was very difficult to make a living, and it was very difficult for a Mexican, we say over there, nadie es profeta en su tierra, nobody's a prophet in his own land. I was having trouble, and this is an issue that we could go for the next 3 days talking about the psyche, the Mexican mentality of always paying attention to whoever comes from another lands. They revere and they seem to be very crazy about it. And one of your own, sometimes they don't. So I say, this is not for me. And
you didn't want to change your name to Smith and be the great artist from Britain.
No, I didn't want to change my name to anything that will sound something coming from Argentina, Brazil, or Spain, which they're crazy about them over there in Mexico. So I said, I'm going to move to the United States, and hopefully I can make a name of my own. And I'm glad I made that decision.
Now, once you came here, you have made a segue that is interesting. You did not stay exclusively in the concert venue, playing purely classical music.
Exactly.
You have evolved into what we call a piano bar player, but not really a piano bar.
Exactly, yeah.
You are an artist who plays in hotels, and some of the most prestigious hotels in this country. And actually, for many years, you were at the most prestigious lounge in the most prestigious hotel in the country, the Polo Lounge of the Beverly Hills Hotel.
Yes, actually, my first jobs were in Tucson, Arizona. I came to the United States through Tucson, and I play in beautiful places over there too. But my very first job in Los Angeles was as the resident pianist of the world-famous Beverly Hills Hotel, which is not too bad.
Not too bad.
Then, of course, as mentioning what you were talking a little bit before, yes, originally I did try to have a career as a concert pianist, and I did my little things here with orchestras here, with the concerts here and there, and I'm still trying, and I probably will try until the day I die to have a little bit of a career as a concert pianist, but I have to be realistic, and I like to pay the bills. So in order for me to pay the bills, fortunately, all my life I knew how to play what we call popular music or international music that is not necessarily classical, and that allowed me to find jobs like the ones you mentioned, the Beverly Hills Hotel. And I've been extremely blessed, unfortunately, because when they closed the Beverly Hills Hotel for remodeling, I was very lucky that L'Orangerie, who used to be an extremely elegant restaurant, is not there anymore, called me to become their first pianist, and I was there for 4 years. And then I got a call from the Hotel Bel Air, and I was the resident pianist of the world-famous Hotel Bel Air.
You just keep moving in very high circles.
I'm not complaining. I was there for 12 and a half years until they closed for remodeling. And then they called me from the Peninsula Hotel in Beverly Hills, where I'm still currently playing Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays.
Now, you mentioned something earlier that's really indicative of someone who can do this kind of job. You found out very early you have a good ear.
Yes.
For music.
Yes.
So that if some person comes up and does not ask for a song that's not in your 2,000 song repertoire, which I find pretty amazing, if you have the sense of the melody in your ear, you probably could play it.
Oh, I have faked my way through a lot of requests by people who come to my piano and they don't know the name of the song and they hum it and it still doesn't look familiar because some people sing in a way that, oh my God, maybe their family thing is nice, but I try to be polite, say, oh, that's cute. And they see me a few of the songs, then I can sometimes fake my way through that. But as a rule, I know most of the requests.
Now, you came to this town, you got a job playing in a hotel, problems happened, they closed, you go move to another hotel, and you have been able to move around, and you went to Tucson. But what year would this have been?
Oh my goodness. Well, I graduated from the National Conservatory of Music in, I think was 76. In 77, I moved to Tucson, Arizona. So my first jobs were in Tucson, Arizona. And I play only in 3 places over there. The only 5-star restaurant in Tucson actually was my first job, was called the Tack Room, beautiful place. Then I moved to another very elegant place called Charles, and then to the Palomino. And then I had a fight with my girlfriend in a weekend, and that I came to Los Angeles, and that's another story, how I got my job in Los Angeles. It's a shot in a million, by the way.
Romance sometimes drives people to do very interesting things that change their lives.
That's the story of my life.
But you mentioned all these places you have worked, but it has been my experience over the years that these places seem to be disappearing. One by one, they're going to electronic music or no music at all.
Yes.
So the life of a live musician, a live artist, is getting very tenuous these days.
You are 100% right. I hear that from my older customers at the Peninsula, that they say, my goodness, there are these places disappearing for performers to play every night or once in a while. And I get emails every single week from people who sing, who play the piano, play the guitar, violin, cello, whatever, and they tell me, where can I find a job? I want to move to, where can I find a job? There are no places. They are disappearing extremely fast, probably because of the cell phones and Blackberries, which I call them crackberries, and all that stuff. And all those venues are disappearing.
Well, we're going to talk a bit more about your current career and where you're going, but right now we really would like to hear some music from you. And you were so kind to bring in one of your many, 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 many CDs. How many CDs have you?
I only have 7 different CDs.
Oh,
not that many. Nobody buys CDs anymore.
What are we going to listen to?
Sounds great.
Sir, you are an artist.
Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Now, you currently have this great gig at the Peninsula.
Yes.
You're there 3 nights a week.
Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
So they can see you Thursday, Friday, and they can rush out right now.
Exactly. I'll be there tonight.
What would you say is the future for yourself? What are you aiming at to go to?
That's another very good question. Well, we all have our long-term goals and short-term goals. The short-term goals usually is to keep a job in a way that pays the bills.
Right.
And the long-term goals is to do something a little bit more creative and more interesting. I have a few pies in a different ovens. Those ovens are not cooking yet, but I have the pies there. I'm writing more music. Eventually, I would like to record and perform and compose music for films. It's been one of my goals for many years. So it's extremely difficult to have an opportunity, but I'm knocking into doors to hopefully they will give me an opportunity as a composer. And I'm writing a Broadway show, and I'm trying to promote my piano comedy show. I also do a piano comedy show too.
You do stand-up or sit
No,
down?
I'm sitting down. I never stand up when I do. No, I tell stories of my career, of my life from a
I was
funny
thinking
view.
about that. You were at the Polo Lounge, and
Yeah.
every star from every field comes
Yeah.
to the Polo
Yes,
Lounge.
they did.
And it's been my experience as a musician that when you're sitting there playing, they'll have the most intimate conversations right in front of you and just treat you like wallpaper.
Oh, yeah.
So you must have some great tales. You ever want to write a book?
I could write a book, but I would have to change the names to protect the guilty. I probably wouldn't be suitable for the younger persons in the family. I have seen stuff, and I have heard stuff that you wouldn't believe it.
I bet you have. Oh, that seems like such a great book.
Yes, maybe one day I will.
Do you do travel? Do you go back to Mexico City?
No, I haven't been in Mexico City in over 20 years.
Oh, wow.
So sometimes you get busy, very busy, and very involved. And I took my son there when he was a little boy. Now my son is 31 years old. But I took him when he was a little boy to see Mexico City, to see my hometown. And that's the last time I was there.
Do you have just one son?
One that I know, yes. Yes, just one son.
Is he following music as a career?
No, he's an attorney. So
Ah.
it's a completely different career. He loved music. He always, because I took him to a lot of concerts. I took him to the LA Field quite often, to the Hollywood Bowl, to a lot of Broadway shows. He saw more concerts than any kid that you can dream of it. But his passion is law, so that's why he's an attorney. But he loves music.
Do you teach?
I also teach private piano, yes,
Is that at your home or
at my home.
you ever want to build your own recording studio and behind your home? Because I'm in the process of thinking about that. It's just quite an investment.
Yes, it is. For a few, and number two, I'm technologically challenged. I mean,
Technologically challenged.
yes, I'm
in
very
this modern
glad.
age.
Yes, I can send emails, and my iPhone, I have it just to send text once in a while and to answer the phone, like most people. But I am not too savvy. I bought a very sophisticated, beautiful digital recording machine 2 years ago, and it's still sitting there because the book of instructions looks like the Bible, so I haven't used it. Maybe one day.
Do you still consider yourself a student of music, a student of the piano? Are there pieces you still learn and strive to learn?
Oh yes, today I was playing some music by Alexander Scriabin, some of the etudes, which I love. At home I only play classical because that's my passion. And every day I found, yesterday I was mending with the Goldberg Variations by Bach. So I'm going to be a student of piano and a student of life until the day I die, because it's a never-learning experience. Never ends.
And your current job, gladly, you're at the Peninsula.
Yes.
And
Wonderful.
Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And do you also have, can you put together like a tour, go off and on your downtime?
Well, the closest that I get is that I do play in private parties, not only in Los Angeles, but I have played in private parties in Montana, Connecticut, Florida, New York, San Francisco, Phoenix. People fly me to play for their affairs, or they have a convention, or they have most of them is in beautiful homes. So I usually get to play beautiful homes. Tours, that's a whole different ball game, because it implies to have an agent. There are no agents for what I do anymore. There are no agents who handle pianists.
I think Van Cliburn's agent has retired.
and Van Cliburn is older than my grandmother. So there are a few elements over there, and he is a world-renowned concert pianist. That's really different. When you have a career as a concert pianist, yes, you might find an agent if you have the name. Like he has an amazing name. But for what I do, my kind of romantic piano, there are no agents that I am aware of it.
The music that you do now, do you find the tastes of the people who come to the hotel, to the lounge, is vastly different? Do you get asked to play much heavy metal?
No, once in a while I have strange requests. But as a rule, people who come to those hotels, they tend to ask for the music that they know I play because I spent so many years in Los Angeles. They know when they come to see me in an evening, in that evening they're going to hear from Gershwin to Cole Porter to Jerome Kern to some romantic Mexican music, tangos, a touch of Chopin, Rachmaninoff, Debussy, Broadway, movie themes, all a good coterie and menage, a variety of music. That's what I will do.
I ask this question because it's happened to me a couple of times. Do you actually ever have people who get up and start dancing?
Oh, yes, they dance quite often, yes. Yes, sometimes I have people who, they have a lot of personality. I had a lady a couple of nights ago over there that she had too much sugar, I guess. So, oh my goodness, she couldn't stop dancing all over the place. And sometimes they're just seeking attention. Sometimes they really love to dance.
Do they ever want to sit in and sing?
Oh, and that I know is the living fan side of me. I can't stand all those people who insist they want to sing. And in this town, if you live in Los Angeles, and people who are watching, maybe they don't know that, but in Los Angeles, everybody and their mother plays the piano, the violin, the guitar, the cello, is an actress, is a model, is a singer, everybody. For everybody wants to be in show business. So they all want to come and sing at night. And almost every single night say, I want to sing. No, I tell them, this is not a karaoke bar. No, this is the Peninsula.
Are there artists, who are the artists you like that you've heard that you respect?
Well, in two different worlds. Okay. In the world of classical music, I grew up listening to Arthur Rubinstein, Vladimir Horowitz, Claudio Rao. And in the world of popular music, my influence were Carmen Cavallaro, who was a wonderful pianist who became famous for one of my favorite movies called The Eddie Duchin Story. Right. Eddie Duchin was a society pianist of the 30s, 40s.
And he did the piano playing on the soundtrack.
He did the piano very. And my grandmother took me to see a movie that nobody has ever seen except for me. It's called Sincerely Yours. Nobody even heard of it. Starring Liberace. And my father bought me the LP. And that's another story, by the way, and I worn it out. So they were influenced, and Roger Williams, and those very people who influenced my piano playing.
Any new artists coming up that you...
I don't listen to the radio at all. No, I only listen to talk radio. I do music every single day in my house. Every single day. I play music for hours in my home, and I play music at night. So one time they asked John McEnroe, the professional tennis player, so you watch the tennis matches when you go home? No. No, so I do is breathe tennis. So I breathe music and I play music. No, I don't listen to that at all.
But when my daughter was growing up, when she was 14, she had been doing theater and going out for auditions. She was cast to be in a musical opposite John Rubinstein. And so it was, she loved doing it. She fell in love with John Rubinstein. And one time he was up, they were doing a little night music, so the music director had his piano, and he was up there playing. And she came and sat on the piano stool with him, said, gosh, you play so wonderfully. And he said, you should have heard my father. And she said, who is he?
Oh, my goodness.
And he said, Artur Rubinstein. And she said, oh, I guess he didn't become as famous as you.
Yeah.
So the future generations don't necessarily know these names and these people, and it's a shame. Because there's a wonderful movie that was made in 1950 called Carnegie Hall. And it was experimental. It was an MGM movie, but they used camera work where they actually were able to get angles of John Rubinstein playing, Jascha Heifetz playing, actually playing as if they were underneath his fingers. The camera work. It's just a wonderful thing of seeing how a person does his craft. You have videos of you, don't you?
Well, yes, you can find like everybody else has videos on YouTube. So people, you can go to my website, they can watch some of the music that I put on YouTube. My website is my name.
Yes, I have it here. www.antoniocastillodelagala.com.
Yeah, very easy.
You
My
didn't
name,
make it
that's all.
easy for people.
No, but that's my legal name, so there's nothing I can do about it.
Are you still recording? Will you have more videos? You have another album
Yeah,
coming
and
out?
well, and CDs, I probably won't make any more CDs because nobody buys CDs anymore. When the internet came, it killed the CD business. To a lot of the musicians that I know, they told me the moment the internet came, people started to downloading stuff, and I'm stay busy with the CDs that I have already. I would like to put more now in YouTube. Allow it to put now my classical music. I haven't put my classical music over there. I just put different kind of genre, romantic. But eventually, yes, I would like to record some classical music and
And
put it
people
there.
can go to your website
Yeah.
and hear your music.
Oh, they're gonna have a
or
lot of
your
fun.
videos.
Yes, they can watch my videos. They can read my blogs. They can get in touch with my Twitter, my Facebook, all the media. They're over there. My information, pictures with celebrities. I have a lot of pictures with celebrities. They can have fun watching my.
Have
my
you
website.
ever allied yourself with another artist, like a classical singer or violinist?
Oh yes, many times. Especially when I was living in Mexico, I used to do tours with a cellist. He was a student. He was a member of the Casals competition. So he was a wonderful cellist. And I did tours with violinists playing violin and piano, and singers, professional singers, doing classical music. And then here I have done it a little bit, but not that much.
It would be nice to see an artist when they play solo, and then also their ability to, join with another artist of equal abilities.
Yeah, we call it chamber music. I've been very fortunate that I have experimented a lot of the aspects that you can do as a pianist. I've been the soloist of an orchestra. I've been a part of the orchestra for a couple of times. I have performed doing classical music with a trio, with a voice, with different instruments, with two pianos, 4 hands. That means two pianists in one hand. One time with 4 pianos. We have 4 pianos in Mexico City. We did the Bach concerto for 4 pianos. So I've been lucky enough that I have experimented a lot of the aspects that you can do in music as a pianist.
I know that the romantics lend itself well to doing what you do, where people come to your environment and not necessarily to be there to hear a concert.
Yeah.
As well as you're playing, you're still many times in the background.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm aware of that every night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you ever find there's music that just doesn't fit? I used to discover that as long as I was playing bossa novas and lightly romantic music, it was fine. But if I ever tried to play Bach, it just seemed to be kind of jarring to the environment.
For once, I'm smarter than I look. So if I want to keep my job, I'm playing in a lovely environment and very romantic. I'm not going to do the Goldberg variations because it just doesn't fit over there. So I try to play music that it will fit the room, and I do manage to play. I have a lot of requests from classical. Every night I do play some classical. I choose things that are a little more well-known and short in duration, 2-3 minutes, and I go back to my usually romantic atmosphere. Yeah.
Do you do your own arrangements? Like, do you ever take something like a symphonic work and do a piano version of it?
Yes, I have done that, and in every single song that I play, those are all my own arrangements. Every song that I play, whether I do Moon River or whether I do a Russian song or a tango, I do my own arrangements. I never play the way it is in the sheet music. It would be too boring for me.
So they're not going to hear Liberace or John Feinstein in you?
No, you mean Michael Feinstein?
Michael Feinstein.
Yeah. No. One of my goals has always been, and I hope to preserve that, is to have my own identity. Every artist and every composer, Bach was influenced by Vivaldi. I mean, Beethoven was influenced by Mozart. Everybody gets influenced by somebody, And I have those influences, maybe as a performance, as I mentioned to you, some of those pianists. But eventually, my goal has always been to have my own voice, my own identity. That way I can be my own person.
Have you ever published your arrangements?
No, I have those requests quite often, actually. Especially in YouTube. I don't have to answer all the comments in YouTube. There's a lot of them, thank God. But there are so many, and most of the time they say, where can I get those arrangements? And maybe one day I will get one of those music programs. I used to have one. I used to have, about 10 years ago, I bought a music program to be able to print professional music. And somebody showed me how to do it, and I forgot, and I never touched it again, so I gave it away. So maybe one day, yes, I will publish my arrangements. That would be interesting.
Do you ever create your arrangements on the fly?
Every night I create them on the fly. Every night.
So it would be good sometime to isolate them and actually get them written
Yes,
down.
I like to keep my music fresh. When you play as often as I play, one of the challenges, I'm going to have a lot of the requests are going to be basic. There are about 100 or 200 requests that are, even though I play over 2,000 songs, if I only knew those 200 requests, I still have a job.
Yes.
Because that's going to be my 80% of my requests are going to be those songs. So in order for me to make it interested, every night I try to play them in a different key. I change here, I change there, I move the hands around. I try to keep them fresh. That way I keep an intellectual and a musical challenge alive within myself.
Yes, because you were making me feel very insecure because when I was really actively doing it, I would really feel I knew at the most about 200 numbers that I could do. And at sometimes we're forced to have someone hum it to me and I'll see what I can do with it. But to be able to have the breadth and range that you have.
It helps that I was born with perfect pitch.
That helps.
And that helps. And perfect pitch is when you can hear a note and you can play it and you hear something, you can repeat it right away. And there's nothing I can do about it. I was born with that and it was a gift from God. So that's what it was one of the reasons that it helps me. And when I used to work with singers, I just did a party. I just did a private party at the Peninsula with a singer. And she wanted to do, let's say, Girl from Ipanema, but that key was too high. You have to move it. I can move it down. I don't have to write it down. So that helps that I can move the keys on all the songs. And that helps a lot.
I have an adopted son. He's 14 now, but he's learning to play the guitar. He's just astounded at the fact that he thinks if you learn a song in the key, that's it. No, I said, no, there's 11 other choices you can make.
Exactly.
In
12
terms
choices
of
in
playing.
total. Yeah.
But in terms of your future plans, you're at the hotel. Are you going to be taking a break soon? How long can people go see you before you move on? Or you're there?
I'm there, and it's wonderful to have that flexibility to have a hotel that you are a resident pianist, because then I can still do my private parties, my private affairs. So that it's a wonderful flexibility, and I hopefully continue with my plans and my goals, and let's see what happens.
This has been a wonderful time speaking to you, but I want to make sure people realize that I have been talking to Senor Antonio Castillo de la Gala, a master pianist who is currently at the Peninsula Hotel.
Beverly Hills.
And is that in the main lounge?
Yes, it's called actually the living room. So when people go in the main entrance of the Peninsula, they go straight, they're going to hear my piano. It's right there. It's a gorgeous living room.
Is it a
very
grand
romantic.
piano?
Yes, it's a very grand, very nice. I picked it up myself.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I went to the store. No, we don't have Steinways anymore for every night. It would be too harsh. I have a Canave, which, as a coincidence, is the same piano that I grew up when I was a little boy.
Learning to play at your grandmother's knee at 3.
Exactly.
And you can find out everything you know about Mr. How would you say, or if someone says Mr., would you say de la Gala?
No, because in Mexico first you have your first name, which is Antonio.
Yes.
My last name is Castillo, which is my father's last name. And then over there you have to have a second last name, which is de la Gala, which is my mother's maiden last name.
That's why I'm Julio Martinez de Cantero Ayala.
Exactamente.
Very reason. But everything you want to know about Antonio, my new best friend, you can find out by going to his website, www.antoniocastillodelagala.com. And I want to thank you for joining me this half hour.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's been my pleasure. My pleasure.
You have been listening to Creative Current on LAartstream.com, airing every Thursday at 7 p.m. It's been delighted talking to my guest here and letting you see this wonderful talent. Please go out to the hotel Thursday through Saturday and welcome back. Please come back. So this has been great. Thank you.
Thank you.